Let's work with the tf_log variable. And you can see I'm here in lesson 09, and here as well. We have a basic help file, and not much to this. This is just showing the commands that you can run so that you can remember these. We also have a main.tf file, and this is pretty straightforward. It has the standard Terraform and provider blocks we've used before, but now we have a new resource that we're going to be building here, AWS_IAM_user. So the standard user account for AWS, this is the naming convention if you want to create one of those. The Terraform name that we're using is user_1, and we're giving it a name and a tag. And it does say, watch for an error here, troubleshoot. So we'll be troubleshooting that as we go through this lesson. So let's go down to the terminal. First thing I want to do is use that tf_log option. And we'll go full screen on the terminal. And we'll do a tf_log equals, and we'll say error. And we'll run Terraform init. So this is just like running Terraform init. The only difference is it'll start logging as well. And by default, we'll display the log in the terminal, otherwise known as the standard out. So we'll press enter for this. It initializes the backend, finds the AWS plugin, and everything is good. So Terraform has been successfully initialized. There's nothing really to log because there's no errors. This is all standard displayed information when we do a Terraform init. Okay, so let's say we want to reset this and make it so it's not a Terraform initialized directory. We could do an rm-rf on all files that start with .t. Press enter. Okay, and that got rid of the files here. So now the directory is not initialized anymore. Let's show what would happen if we were to run Terraform apply with the tf_log equals error. We'll press enter for that. And we see an error, inconsistent dependency lock file. Well, it can't really do anything because there is no lock file because we did not run Terraform init effectively. We made this an uninitialized directory. So you have to initialize it first. And we've talked about this before. You've got to run Terraform init first. Now, this error is actually something that the Terraform CLI would display anyway, even if we weren't logging. However, let's move up the ladder of the verbosity levels for the logging types. So we'll up arrow this, and instead of error, we'll go up one level to warn. And let's see if any warnings occur when we do this. No warnings, we get the same error. Okay, that's fine. Let's go up another layer. This time we'll go to the next level, which is info. Press enter for this one. And now we actually get some information. We do get the error here that we saw before, which would have shown up anyways, but we also get information. So what is it showing us? This is just informative stuff. Has really nothing to do with the error, but it does tell us some interesting stuff here. It tells us Terraform version we're running, 1.4.6. It also tells us the Go runtime, 1.19.6. That's the version for Go. Keep in mind that Terraform is written in Go. And so if you decide that you want to get more into DevOps or developing in general or working in a systems administrator capacity, you might want to learn a little bit more about Go. And that's one of the programming languages that HashiCorp and many other companies use. It also tells us the command line interface arguments. And in this case, Terraform apply. And it's just showing this in JSON format. Okay, so it's all just informational, but we're getting more information now. It's actually logging more stuff. If you want more detail, we can go up to the next level. The next level would be debug. So we'll press enter for that. And now we get some more information here. Again, we have the error at the end, which would display no matter what. We also have the info, like Terraform version, and more information about that from the GitHub page for HashiCorp. Then information about Go, information about the CLI arguments like we saw before, but then lots of debugging information here. It's telling us it can't open, let's move this over. It's telling us it can't open a Terraform RC file. That's because we don't have one. A lot of other things that it's ignoring. But then effectively it says, okay, checking for this, checking for that. It's giving a lot of debug information, but not quite enough for us to find out more about this error. So let's go up to the top level. Let's go to the most verbose option, which is trace. That's going to be the most amount of detail. Press enter. Again, we have the error at the bottom, but now we have lots of information. If we scroll up here, this is the command, and it gives us lots of trace information, including information about the terminal, the meta backend, and much more. And if you scroll down, you may actually find information here about what happened with this. And if we look at this last trace, it says state manager file system unlocking terraform.tf state, and we can't do that. We can't get any farther than that because there's no lock file in here, because we haven't run Terraform init. So you can see exactly what's happening in the Terraform CLI all the way up to the point of the error. So generally, trace is what I'll use in most cases. You can also use this with other commands. So for example, if we did a tflog equals trace and then a Terraform fmt for format and press enter, we'll see a whole lot of information here. Now, normally, the only thing that would be outputted if we just ran the command would be the file that it actually modified and formatted, which is main.tf. But it tells us more information here. And it tells us Terraform fmt formatting main.tf. So you can get much more in-depth info here. This is just a basic example, but much more in-depth information when you do a trace like this. And you might do it with Terraform fmt, but Terraform init and apply are the most common because those are the ones that you're going to troubleshoot the most. So let's take a look at our slide once again. Remember that trace is the one that you're going to want the most when presenting your logs to other team members or to HashiCorp support or other support teams if you're dealing with them. Or if you're supporting someone else, if you're supporting a customer, this is most likely what you'd ask for. Now we can also turn on session long logging by exporting this tf_log environment variable. And so right now we have to actually type tflog equals trace every time. But we can export that permanently if we do an export on tf_log equals trace. That will export that variable, and that'll work for this entire terminal session regardless of what command we run. So if we run a Terraform format again, it's going to log everything and show us all the debugging for that. Now there's less information here because this time it did not actually change the main.tf. It did last time, and so there was more information in the log because something actually happened. This time it didn't need to do anything because it's already been formatted. And if we look at that main.tf, it probably did some nice formatting for us in here and fixed stuff up. Okay. Made the equal signs level, all that kind of thing. So now it logs all Terraform commands, no matter what we run. We can run another Terraform init if we wanted to, and it would go through that whole process. Doesn't matter what command you run. But again, most of the time, what I'm doing is I am logging what happens with the Terraform apply.